2015. First on the agenda this evening is a continuation of show cause hearing and appropriate action on 11 Jeremy Garden Lane, a cease and desist regarding work without permit in the upland review area. We kept this open, Terry. I guess you were going to take a look at what was done and whether it's okay, and before we dismissed or dealt with it basically.
I haven't had a chance.
Okay, so we'll continue to next month?
Sure.
Okay. All right. That's easy. So that matter is continued till next month. We have no new business, which is good. Under old business, first item on the agenda, David Bryce, 32 Cowpath Lane, application for residential site development of lot. Mr. Garcia.
For the record, John Paul Garcia, representing David Bryce. First off, I have received no comments from the commission regarding the site walk, whether there were any issues or something the commission wanted to discuss. We did submit revised plans, which might be easier if I just show you this.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This might be a little easier. What this is...
You said these revised plans are submitted today, right?
Yes, that's correct. And we're going to have to grant you an extension, which we will. What this is just a blow-up of the, or not a blow-up, it's actually just a print of the house area, the septic area. And what we've done was, based upon Bob Criscolo's comments, we pulled the house forward. If you look, I gave you guys a sketch last month that showed the house tilted back at an angle. This is now pulled forward parallel with the street line, and the infiltration system is put behind the house. Nothing else has changed. The clearing limit and the erosion control fence is in exactly the same place. The septic system is in exactly the same place. All we did was just literally held the house corner, the left front corner, and pivoted the house forward. That's all we did, and put it parallel to the street line to give us a little room in back to put infiltration. Bob wanted stormwater containment system for the first 1 inch, so that's all we did.
No, just, I don't have the, unfortunately, I don't have the old permit here. Can you just sort of review again?
Here's a copy
from the old permit that was approved for the project?
Here's a copy of what the old permit, I don't know if this is gonna, this shows the old house, here, the purple, which is a little, these things are, it's tough to make out, but I'll explain it to you. What's shown in purple is the old permit. That's the solid heavy line at the back is the silt fence. The septic system is basically where the old new septic, and that's the house that was permitted last time.
Okay.
So that's why I said all we did was held the corner and just swung everything forward. And that gave us a little bit more room back here to work. We tried to keep 51 feet away from the wetland and to handle that. And there's actually a double well symbol here. That just ignore that. The well is actually in front. Yeah. This is the old house. This is the old septic, the old silt fence. And here's the old septic system that was permitted. It was in purple. And so we had to push that back a little bit to get us room to put in an infiltration system that Bob wanted. If you put it much closer to the house, you risk flooding the basement. You know, because you're putting water in the ground.
Right.
So.
And that area's pretty far from.
Yeah.
And that area is pretty far from the wetlands.
That's correct, because the wetland actually loops. If anybody remembers this, there's actually it's a valley, and it's pretty far away, and it goes down into a fairly substantial wetland down farther. But I figured you'd want to see that, so that's why I did it. We're still trying to figure out colors and everything else and how to make this work.
This is the permanent map, the one with this
Well,
magenta line.
Yeah, that's correct. It is magenta, it's not purple. Thank you. The purple was what was approved in 2003, and there was the house.
Okay.
And the other color, which is underneath it, this is the house. You can see the house?
Yeah, and you've tilted it on this corner.
That's correct. That's what we said. We pulled it forward so it's parallel to give us a little bit more room in back to put an infiltration system, which the engineer wanted.
Gotcha.
And we pulled the silt fence forward behind the system. We didn't need it as far back as it was. So we pulled that forward, but we had to move it back just a little bit in the back.
Okay, excellent.
So you can see what we, okay?
Fine, thank you.
So you haven't heard anything back from Bob?
Well, no, it's not fair of me to say, well, geez, Bob's had it for 24 hours, why can't he do it? I have to do it. But it's not fair to say that, so I
Right,
won't.
okay. So because you're such a fair guy, you're gonna give us an extension
I
until
will-
next month to take a look at
Do
it?
you have a form, or if not, I can do it in the morning?
Yeah, Chris could
Is that
email
an
it to John Paul, that's fine.
Sure.
She didn't
Okay.
leave me any, so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, then I'll take it, but yes, there's no problem giving you, like I said, Bob was emailed the stuff yesterday, and we dropped off 10 sets this morning. So it's not really fair to ask Bob to say, okay, I need it for tonight, even though.
But you're getting paid more than he's getting paid, so, yeah.
That's a question, I don't know, I just got the bill for Mercedes, I don't know.
How about, anybody have any questions about the site after the site visit? I mean, David and I were on here when we approved it originally back in 2003, so.
I mean, this thing's been kicking around since, I think, I think we started the first in 87, and then it was approved in like 93, and then 98, and then we did a site plan in 2000. The last lot, this is the last lot, was 2003.
Yeah, I was here in 93 too, so anyway.
The marketplace is speaking to you, huh?
What got moved here? It looks the
Oh.
same to me.
No, what happened, this is the old house,
The purple's the old
the
one?
magenta,
Okay.
and so here's the blue house is moved. So we held this corner and swung it forward
This way.
this way, so it's parallel to the street line to give us more room in back. That's why it looks like this. Do you see what we're talking about?
Are you sure you don't have a zoning problem by doing that?
What would be the zoning problem?
The front stoop.
Oh, we can back that up a few feet. The stoop, those are just concrete steps, it's not a structure over it. Is that still an issue? Okay, let me make a note.
Yeah, I know. So the only thing that really encroaches closer to the wetlands than before is this deck or whatever it is off the back, is that it?
Well, yes, that's correct, but it's still well inside the old
Yeah,
clearing limit
yeah,
line.
exactly.
What actually expanded a little bit was where we put the infiltrators.
Right, I see that pushback. Mhm.
You can write down what you said. And that's stairs.
And you're gonna be putting these in, is it okay to put these infiltrators into fill? Because you seem to be filling that area.
Yes, it's acceptable to put them in fill, so long as the material is porous enough to allow it to drain.
Would you have to put in that much fill if you made the infiltrators in natural soil?
The problem with that is you start to go too deep, you start to get too close to you build it like a septic system. So you gotta watch modeling, actually, infiltrators, they like them about 4 feet above it. So in this particular case, we're in reasonably good shape, and it's perfectly acceptable to put infiltrators in fill, as long as the fill is porous enough to allow dissipation through the bottom and the sides. And that's the way it's built. It's built just, it is essentially, it's a septic system for rainwater. That's all it takes. It takes the driveway, the back end of the driveway, and the roof leaders. Yeah, a lot of times when you dig test pits for this stuff, you've got to be 4 feet above.
Can you also put there's a new requirement in the public health code about putting the discharge of a water treatment system of a house into a system like that?
We don't envision a water treatment system, but normally if somebody has the backwash, or as an example, my daughter has a magnesium filter, and that goes into a 55-gallon drum filled with stone. It only backwashes, I think, about 5 gallons once a month.
You might want to look at the new requirements of the public health code for the discharge of that water.
Yeah, there is a new requirement that they're treating it like like the old. Let's back up a second. They're treating it like the old gray water systems.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to put in some kind of a designed, not septic system, designed catchment system, but only if you know you've got one. And right now we don't know if we have one. So we have plenty of places to put it because they're not large, but they are designed, and it's another gallery type thing. Yes, I'm fully aware of it, but I haven't had to design one yet.
It's another full employment act for the engineers, right?
Please.
Hey, John, where's the well on this again?
It's in front. There's a double line on it.
Okay.
It's actually right here.
Oh, okay, all right.
We originally were gonna put it in the back, but that's where we ended up putting the,
Yeah, okay, that's right. I missed
And we didn't move
that
the-
circle somehow. I don't
yeah,
know.
we didn't move the circle. That's what was originally approved. That's why it's there. This was originally approved with the well back here.
Okay, because there's no 75-foot set off the drainage system, is there?
No.
Okay, so
No.
that circle's just left over.
Yeah, it's actually 25 feet from a groundwater intercepting drain or a footing drain.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll send this stuff off to Bob, get
Originally was
his
back
final comments, and let's go
Just put
from
that
there.
there, it's going up front.
Nothing? Okay. All right, then, we'll...
Thank you very much.
yeah,
We'll wait to hear from Bob.
Yeah, if touch base with Chris on the extension form, and just, you can email it back and forth.
Okay, and I'll take care of the front end. That's for even detached concrete stairs or patio.
We have a bunch of
or anything.
copies here, if
forward
people want to take them
projection of
home, otherwise I'll throw them in the file.
That's attached, well, there's no roof over this.
Any roof, any steps,
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
Is that thing? Is that-
Okay,
okay.
that's not big.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Fireplace
I'll
bottom.
talk to you later.
okay.
All right, so that now will be continued with extension. Next time on the agenda, Crestview Lake Association, Inc., application for dredging of channel and delta in Lake. Mr. Gearing, if you want to come on up. You can come on up if you want to just sign in if you want, that way.
I guess you did have a visit. I wasn't aware that I was out of town, so I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
No one told me.
Oh, okay.
About a week later, a neighbor of Bob said, "Yeah, there are a whole bunch of cars parked over by the ditch. What's going on?" And I said, "I have no idea."
Chris was under the impression you're on vacation, that's why, you know.
No.
Well, yeah, a bunch of the people went out that Saturday. I went out afterwards, David. Yeah, if you want to just have a seat, that's probably the easiest thing to do, yeah. Be more comfortable. I did see in the file how Roman updated his report also.
That's right.
So, I mean, I guess my only question is, and just speaking for myself, is that I can see something needs to be done, and Roman had suggestions as to how to do it. I guess until we know for sure what's going to be done, rather than us say what has to be done, it probably would be, the timing would be appropriate for you to, if you have a contractor that's proposing to do this, you know, whether we continue this application for a while or whether we just, table it for the moment and then bring it back to life once you have a specific proposal. I guess my only concern is, we're talking in the abstract, we don't have specifics, we know that it needs to be done though.
I mean, we've been working on this since 2003. And
Well, that's why I'm concerned about what we're approving, if we approve something. So.
Well, Roman, at the time, well, I guess you have Roman's report. What we want to do is dig out the ditch itself and get rid of the island that's on the end. I mean, most of that silt is from the Eldersley retention basin when it let go. And we also had problems with the town when they were closing the settling ponds up behind where what was the landfill now.
What sort of equipment are you proposing to use?
A backhoe,
A backhoe?
a tracked backhoe.
How big a tract backhoe? I mean,
Well, we're going to try to get an extended,
How are you
we're
gonna
trying to
get-
get an extended reach machine in and to get rid of the island on the very end.
and it's gonna go down looking from Crestview, it would go down the left-hand side, that left-hand bank.
If you're looking
How
at,
does it get across from Crestview past those two little,
tracked vehicle has no problem with the backhoe going over there.
and what is that big pile of dirt that obviously was dredged somewhat recently?
No, nothing's been dredged recently.
Well,
It's probably from the original, if it's a pile of dirt there, it's probably something that's been there since when they built the pond, back in 1971.
No, this was, I don't know if,
Along the side.
It's along the
Well,
side.
the town did something there, and I have no idea what they did. Warren, I didn't know that he even did anything, but I think that they did something in there with a backhoe. I have no idea where that came from. That was not there. So you'll have to talk to Warren Connors. I mean, he's done, he made the two Hoover dams in the ditch next to my house, which we were supposed to just clean the ditch out. And when I came back from Minnesota, we had these two huge stone dams there. They never cleaned the ditch out, and the silt is still washing into the pond. So that's going to be a matter that we're going to probably take the town to court on, because they were supposed, and he agreed to take the silt out, and he didn't do it.
Getting back to this other,
Right.
I'm still worried about the spoils and where they're gonna be placed.
Well, we're going to put them right on top of the,
See, yeah.
as you face the pond, the left side.
Answer very much. I'm just being honest with you. Because I don't think that's necessarily, just because it was something that was done originally or 30 or 40 years ago, best practices have changed since then.
Well, we can't truck it out. It's impossible to truck it out.
I know that.
I've had contractors look at it.
Why is it impossible to track out? It would seem like if you can get a backhoe into it, you can.
Yeah, but just trying to get trucks down through where all those little cuts are that drain the water from the other lot.
You can't bring the back scoop out to the street and put it.
Each time? It would take it's gonna take thousands of scoops as it is with a small track hoe.
You know, I know
The reach to get out there, frankly.
when they dredge channels near our house in Rhode Island, they have this huge vacuum thing that sucks everything out and then brings it to someplace else to dewater it. I don't know, is that a feasible way of doing this, or, because I don't know, it just seems like it would be a hard reach for a piece of equipment to get out far enough to really clean out that delta in my mind. I don't know.
Earth Technology has a machine that's sitting right over there when they did the work on the tire pond on State Street. They have a machine sitting right there because they're doing some more work on that. And that machine, we've talked to them and that they've looked at it and they said it's no problem. They'll be able to reach right out there. They take it from the very thing and take it right out.
Well, you know, again, speaking for myself, because we haven't voted to discuss this as a group yet, but, you know, I have no problem conceptually doing what you need to do because it should be done. I just think we need, once you have a specific contractor that has a specific design proposal and location for the dredged material, that'd be the time for us to approve it. But I think there's a consensus that you should go ahead, get your estimates, and then as long as we're okay with where the stuff is gonna go that you pull out of there, I think we're gonna be okay with the process, especially if it's somebody who knows, you know, who's experienced in this kind of operation.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody looked at, so what's the Wetlands Commission want to do? They
Well,
said, we can
no,
do anything you want, but what do they want us to do?
We want them to come in and say, here's what we propose, and we say, okay. That's really what it just comes down to.
Well, how about if Roman comes in? Because Roman has been the fellow that's been there from the Conservation Service. He did the report.
Yes, but Roman is not the contractor.
Well, yeah, but we need to...
We haven't picked the contractor yet. We're not
Well,
really
that's
sure.
what-
We
that's
haven't
what I'm
really
saying.
gotten prices.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We just continue this matter, or else we allow you to refile without any fees when you come back in with a specific proposal and design as to what's going to be done. There's nobody here that, at least in my mind, will vote against it as long as we know where the stuff's going that's coming out of the place.
Well, we intend to put it on the bank, right, and where when they did the original ditch, put it right on top of that, just raise that up a little bit.
They're going to
because-
have to provide a lot of protection so it doesn't end up back in the stream or in the water, in the pond, you know. So that's the kind of design information we need in order to really act on this. Again, George, nobody's saying this is a stupid idea, it's a good idea, but we just need more details before we could just say, yeah, it's approved without more information. So what you could say to the contractor, the wetlands are in favor of it, come up with your best idea as to where the spoils are to go, and how it's actually going to be dredged, and what equipment's going to be used, and then we can act on it at that point, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you think you want us to truck it away? Well, I don't even know where we would, I mean, I have had two contractors, Grieger has been in, W.R. Grieger's been there, and I've had Mastraccio and Son look at it.
Yeah, well, Grieger's
And-
done dredged a ton of ponds in Woodbridge over the last 20
Right,
years.
exactly, and that's
he
what
knows
his
what he's
idea
doing,
was, to
so-
put it right there.
Well, and he knows what he's doing, so that's why if that's who you end up contracting with, he's been here often enough to explain what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and that's kind of what we need to hear. But like I said a couple times already, conceptually, we're in favor of what you want to do, we just need the details. So,
Right.
Did I miss somewhere where Roman,
he didn't really say anything about where to put the stuff, yeah.
he didn't say anything about that.
Yeah,
And
I read his
that's,
report,
that is
yeah.
concerning to me.
Well, because we just took for granted, that's where we were gonna put it, right alongside the ditch where it is.
But it doesn't say that in his report.
Yeah,
And I need to
On
see,
the second page of the
Minimize profile.
2013 letter,
Yeah, where it does say
it says material disposal.
2013. Okay, yeah, so he's
DP, yeah,
he's thinking he
DP5,
already,
yeah. mhm. Yeah, so he's anticipating you could do at least some of it on site, but what we need is, better handle on how much is coming out, whether
We're
the
only
site-
going down 3 feet, we're not, it's only gonna be 3 feet, the ditches, that's the depth of what it was originally.
Well, I'm
so.
more concerned with the stuff in the delta, where all the
that.
stuff, what the volume of that
I'd like to
material
put
is.
it back up in Ellerslie, because that's where it came from.
That's not practical, but Grieger, see, that's the kind of calculations and estimate and information we need from somebody like Grieger or whoever you choose to do the work. I agree, the channel stuff probably could go up on the hill next to it as long as it's stabilized, but we need how it's gonna be stabilized, what's gonna be done. But that stuff in the delta there's much more volume there, and I don't know.
I realize that.
And that probably has to come out first before you can get the stuff out of the channel anyway.
That's
So
right.
there's a bunch of, usually we have a system, a sequence of events that, the contractor will agree to follow. Go ahead, Terry.
And in the past, for example, on the rear lots on Racebrook Road, if you recall, Mr. Grieger was able to give us that sequence of operations, the particular protections against it coming back into the pond.
Yeah.
This is a pond that
and he knows what we need, and as long as you could tell him that conceptually the board's agreeable to this kind of proposal, he could come up with the plan that we need to be what we adopt, that needs to be what we adopt, so go talk to them, come back with something, we'll either table this or you can withdraw it for now, we'll let you refile without,
Is there a time limit? Could this be done, say, in November or even in December?
I would think, going into, the problem will be, we don't have a growing season now, so it'd be better to do this in like August, so it could be stabilized in September,
Right.
and it doesn't wash away in the winter. That's the problem. You're probably looking at a next summer type project at this point, so that whatever's taken out of there can be stabilized, in the fall.
I mean, the worst thing you could do to yourself is to do this and then have a great deal of precipitation.
And have it wash right back in there and waste all that money, so.
That's probably true.
So I talk to people like Grieger, look at next summer.
Yeah, we're trying to get some prices from different ones. They're very, they keep saying, well, what's the wetlands, what are they gonna, what are they telling you? And that's,
Well,
so they say, when they tell you something, then that's fine, but.
Well, but we're going to react to what they propose, but you could tell them that ostensibly it seems like everyone's on board conceptually with it, but the real issue is where do you put the spoils, and that's for them to propose. So.
Well, that's why I think Roman said it was gonna, right where I have been saying.
Yeah,
right
but I think
along.
he was dealing more with the channel stuff in that provision, not with the stuff in the delta.
From the delta?
Yeah, because he can visualize that and quantify that by looking at it to some degree, and we all can. But I can't figure out how much volume is in that delta.
There's not really a lot, because the pond is not that deep. I mean, it's not, it's farther out, it's deeper, but it's
Well, someone like
filled in
Grieger-
quite a bit.
somebody like Grieger would probably have a pretty good idea how many yards would be probably.
okay.
And where you could fit that as far as placing it, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All
So if
right.
that's of any help, what we could do is, what I would suggest is probably you withdraw the application now, and then we'll just allow you to refile it once you have your contractor in line. And, you know, once you get your estimates and you get your proposal, I mean, this is something you could do during the winter we could approve because it's good for 5 years. So it's, you know, it's not like you have to do it
Right
a
away.
month before, you know, summer begins next summer, you know.
Right.
So, I'll tell you what, for now, we'll just continue this thing unless we have a time, do we have a time limit on this? Are we stuck at a time schedule?
It started in 2003, so I guess it's...
Yeah,
Plenty
no,
of
we're not
time.
talking about our statutory time. No, I think we still have time, this
I
is
think
only
we
the
still have
first.
time.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, for now, we'll just continue this till next month. In the next month, if you make any progress,
Or I'll-
report back,
yeah.
otherwise, we just withdraw the application for now, and then, you know, we can reactivate it when, you know, resubmit it when you have a proposal.
Okay, all right. That's fine, that's
Okay,
good.
thanks, George. All right. Next item on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to have you sign in. Richard Pryor, 190 Seymour Road, update on work on the residential site development permit and discussion of enlargement of septic system to accommodate a 4-bedroom house. No house footprint increase. Yeah, Mr. Pryor, if you want to just sign in and that way you should have been on top of that before.
We have to talk to our friend Warren, because I don't know what he did. I mean, he made a mess of that thing. I don't know what was going on.
Mr. Pryor, you can proceed. How are things going?
Well, it's been, I think, it's been about 6 months since I was here last.
Yeah, that's
So I'll just bring you up to date a little bit. We went through we eventually had to get a excavation permit from the planning and zoning board, so we did receive that. And the other thing that you may recall that we, from an administrative point of view, we had talked about when I was here, was to relocate the existing drainage easement to the location where the actual channel actually exists. The drainage easement on the property is to the west, is along the western property line, and obviously that's not where the drainage actually exists. So we did go to the Board of Selectmen, and they approved that release and reassignment of the drainage easement. Speaking via email with the town attorney today, we expect that paperwork to be in place. The town attorney is preparing the paperwork and hopes to have that done sometime next week, by the end of next week. If you've been by the site, you've obviously seen we've cleared the trees, and we've done all the...
Just let me interrupt for a second. This was approved 6-8 months ago after, there had been just for the benefit of new members of the board, there had been a prior permit approval many years before Mr. Pryor bought the property. He had some design changes and improvements over what the prior plan was. That was approved by us, and then, just to bring up the speed, that's recent history on this at least.
So what we've done was, where we stand on the site now, we've essentially followed the construction sequence we told you we were going to do. We've constructed the riprap channel from the top down to the proposed driveway. We've installed the 2 plunge pools, one above the driveway and one below. We've installed the driveway, the culvert across the driveway. So the majority of the major drainage work on the site is complete. If you go up there, you'll see along the riprap channel, the grass is actually growing. We've seeded it, hayed it. It's in a good way towards being stabilized at this point. The driveway is probably we've got the driveway roughed in about halfway up the to the house location. And we've done all the clearing and grading within the state right-of-way that we need to do, and we've seeded and hayed all that area. When we first started, we noted that the catch basin, the receiving catch basin was fully plugged up and full of sand. We had contacted the DOT to come and clean that out, seeing that we would probably be the ones that everybody would be pointing at when there was an issue. They said they would be out there within 2 weeks with a vacuum truck. That was about a month ago. If you recall, we had a rain event just prior to when there was that hurricane was predicted. We had a rainfall event a couple days before that. We discovered that not only was the catch basin full, but the drainage pipe, the existing drainage pipe down to the catch basin was completely plugged up as well. I had my guys pull the drainage pipe out, clean it out, reinstall it, and also hand excavate the catch basin out. So I would suggest to you that probably for the first time in at least 10 years, the drainage system in that location is actually working the way it's supposed to work.
Thank you.
How's the pipe across the road? The pipe actually doesn't, it actually goes parallel to the road. So that's where the outlet looks like. It actually goes parallel to the road to the next basin down. So one of the things that we couldn't do, or we couldn't even propose before because of the location of the drainage easement, was we didn't have enough room to put a 4-bedroom septic system in. Because because of that 30-foot, we couldn't propose the septic system within the drainage easement. So now that we've gotten the drainage easement relocated, that's opened up that amount of property for an expansion of the septic system. Everything else is identical. The driveway location, the house footprint, limited disturbance is all the same. In fact, and I have the approved plan on the other side of this one, but if you recall, we had originally called for a couple of access driveways sort of going across into the drainage easement, into the drainage channel from the site to bring the rock in. So we actually had 2 temporary roadways proposed there to construct the channel. And then when my site contractor got on site and actually saw it, he felt that he could do everything from the bottom, which when he first looked at it, he didn't think there was any way he could do it that way. And he actually was able to move all that riprap from the bottom along the channel up the hill in a pretty efficient manner. I know we all laughed about when he said he would have it done in 10 days, but he did it in about 8 days. He did that whole channel in about 8 days from top to bottom. So it was clearly having the right guy on the job to do that project.
I'm just curious, what kind of machinery did you use to get this all the way to the stone all the way up and down?
What they ended up with is they had the excavator up on top, an excavator up on top to place the stone, and then they came up with an old track loader, and you almost never see these anymore. Mm-hmm. But it was just a load, like a payloader, but on tracks, and so he was able to just track up the hill with that and bring the stone, and then have be on top and place the stone with the excavator. Okay. So it actually was a pretty efficient operation. And he was making 80 to 90 feet a day.
So you're now proposing an additional bedroom,
Yes.
and hence a larger galleries for the septic?
Yes, if you can see, it's hard. It may be hard to see, and I'll bring it up if you can't, but the yellow is what was approved for the 3-bedroom, and this sort of magenta color is what the extension is. It's a 15-foot extension of the gallery, so it's just an extension of the row. It's one row of like a gallery system.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea we could amend it.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Terry, do you have any comments on this? It doesn't seem
I think that,
problematic to me. So.
I don't think that in terms of the market expectation of a 4-bedroom as opposed to a 3-bedroom, I don't think that this 15 feet of additional trench is going to make much difference to our interest as a wetlands agency, but perhaps a good deal to Mr. Pryor.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know how everybody
It's
else
only the
feels.
operation of the public health code that didn't allow this in the first place.
Right.
Having to do with the approximated 2 interior property lines.
Right. Our intent, just so you know, schedule-wise, our intent would be to we're trying to get everything downhill of the driveway completed and hayed, seed, and mulched in the next 2 weeks. Right now, we have everything in the right-of-way next to the road done, but we still have that area of septic and we're trying to get essentially everything downhill of the driveway to be seeded before we get bad weather.
Okay. And we're doing this, from a procedural standpoint as an amendment to the existing permit, so we can act on it tonight, then I take it, so.
I think you can.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's really important to reference a new record map that shows accurately for
Right.
our purposes.
And so other than that 15 feet of gallery for the septic, everything else is the same as what we've approved before?
Yes.
Okay.
With the reduction of the access driveways to the...
True, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at that as an enhancement, there's a little less site disturbance
Right.
based on the way the means and methods we were able to use to construct the channel.
I move for an amendment.
You move to approve the amendment. Do we have a second? David seconded, David moved, Jack seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, you're approved, the amendment's approved. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Just for the record, my first name is Robert.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't be the first, I can tell you, I've lived a lifetime of people making that mistake, so I don't fault you for it.
Yeah,
It's an easy
so
one
I
to
don't know
make.
where it came from, so it's on the agenda, so. But, all right, well, thank you, and good luck with the project.
Thank you very much. Again, at this point, you can actually pull off Seymour Road onto the site, so if anybody's interested in looking at it,
How is the line of sight now that the trees?
it's far better. Right now,
To the left of it.
the silt fence is obscures it just a little bit because of where the silt fence is, but you can see that it's far better now.
When you have that corner, when you come out and...
No, you can actually see down there, yeah, it's far better.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Next time on the agenda is an email request from Mr. Kingsley, 27 North Pease Road, about a site visit to discuss the expansion of his backyard with additional grass. Is that the corner of Amity Road and North Pease there? Is that the first house on the right, or?
No, this is on North Pease and...
I mean, not Amity, I said a road and North Pease.
No, it's remember the house that built the swimming pool above ground?
Oh, that one. Okay, all right. Because I know the first one, there was a limitation. They can't have a deck off the back, and they couldn't go any further with the grass. I thought that one made a deal. Okay, so this is that one there. Really?
So there's
But
a tremendous
52
area.
is next to that.
What's that?
52 is next to that house. That's why I'm confused. The Morgan's house is 52, and they're next to the house with the swimming pool. So are you sure it's that house, or?
Remember this was before they did a lot of work without approvals? from
Oh, sure, yeah,
agency?
and the house had to be rebuilt, basically, after they started.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is the next door neighbor is 52. So I don't understand how
This
that's...
is the Mary Walton house that was rebuilt?
That's correct. Remember the porch and then the second floor that just exploded?
Yes.
Yeah, no, we knew Mary, yeah, they lived across the street,
It's
yeah.
next to Morgan.
Morgan's is 52 though, North Pease. I don't know how, this one's 27, that's why I was asking
Yeah, well,
which one it was, so. But 27 should be on the other side of the road. Okay, I'm confused, but anyway, all right,
So their request is for us to tell them where their wetlands are. Bless you. And we have said to them that that's their job to tell us where, and I think they'd be very surprised how close the wetland soils is to their home. And they'd like more of a backyard. They're operating a daycare out of that house presently.
Yeah.
One of those home daycare things.
Yeah, I've seen the stuff on the front lawn.
I think that all parties need to know where their wetlands are.
Well, and we don't have that information. We didn't have it before either, if I remember
We
correctly.
had it, at one point we had it. But, I think that, we find it affordable for applicants to hire a soil scientist and have it
Yeah,
flagged. And that's,
yeah, we're not soil scientists.
we are not.
But I don't know, I see what everybody else thinks. My thought is, get back to them and say, hire a soil scientist, and then we'd be happy to look at whatever drawings that, they don't even have to have a big, Garcia map or something
It could be
like
a
that.
sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
From the
With some
wetland
flags.
scientist.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 'Cause we're not looking to put anyone through great expense, but we need the information. We can't do it ourselves.
In our experience, it'll probably cost $200 or $300 to have that soil scientist do that, because it's a fairly straight line, as I recall.
Yeah, all the way around the back, yeah, and the sides.
And it's a very, it's part of, well, it's their backyard, but it's part of a very terrific functioning wetlands area
Yeah.
that goes further up North Pease, almost all the way to Amity Road.
Yeah. Okay, so if you can get back, have Chris get back to him with that. That's
We'd be happy to do
my
that.
inclination, so. Okay, enforcement officer report. Anything going on that we need to worry about?
No new news. No new news.
That's good. All right, on this regulation change thing, we have a new undergraduate intern that's working on surveying areas on their penalties stuff. So she's got half of it done and probably have the rest of it done by next month. So therefore we could sort of talk about what other towns do at that point, so. No site visits, so we don't have to deal with that. Now we have minutes for several meetings to deal with. First one was regular meeting of July 15th. If anybody has any comments or questions. Oh, wait a second. No,
September, you mean September 16th?
no, it says July 15th, continued on,
This is the,
hold on. No, it looks like we don't have that, I don't have that.
I don't have
I got the minutes about $5.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, you got it at 5 o'clock?
I don't have it.
Here they are. So if you want to take a look at them now, let's just take a few minutes and get rid of them.
Can I make a correction?
Sure.
My name is spelled only Jean.
Okay,
I called the town when I first got my letters, but it obviously didn't get cleaned up in the database. And
okay.
maybe it gets into the minutes.
We'll have to have a global correction on that then.
Neatly.
Oh, did
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's on there on its nameplate, so.
it's like a bad penny, I guess.
All right. I mean, if people want to if you want, rather we do this next month, we could wait, unless you want, but I think it would be better off just get rid of it before memories become even more distant, so.
Gene's name is spelled wrong, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything else reading it through it quickly, so.
Kind of like it that way too.
All right, then,
Well, I just had a comment on page 3,
sure.
that second bullet on the top. It said dredged materials will be removed from the side in a watertight container. I assume that's site.
Yes. Okay,
Is
so,
that pond as big as the
Good cat.
Crestview pond?
no, it's very small.
It was a little frog pond, huh?
Yeah, a little, but it's bigger, but not nowhere near Crestview. So that's page 3, top, second bullet at the top. Tammy, okay? You have that?
I haven't got a copy of it.
Okay, I'll give you mine then. And then Jean's name is misspelled,
Do you
so
want my copy?
clean that up.
I think I know what that was.
Anybody have anything else? Jack,
Can I ask
you-
a question about cease and desist order, because it wasn't actually in those tapes? This has been, Jeremy Garden Lane has been on as a cease and desist since I've been coming.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he couldn't do the work?
No, what happened was
He'd done the work in advance.
well, he had done some work that he shouldn't have done,
Yeah.
so therefore he then filed an application to do work that was legitimately approved. And so Terry just has to go out there and inspect to see what he did after the cease and desist was issued and pursuant to the application was completed. That's why we're holding cease and desist open, just in case for some reason. He's been extremely cooperative, so I don't expect any problems, but we just keep that open as a
But it
hammer,
doesn't-
basically.
It doesn't
so.
encumber him in any way?
No. Anything, Jack?
No.
Okay. All right, so other than those two changes, do we have a motion to approve? Dave Bixler moved, do we have a second? Barry seconded, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstentions, okay, 5-0, approved with those corrections. All right, moving on. Site inspection, June 17th. This is the one, David and I were really there, weren't we?
Well,
I was there, I know.
yeah.
Yeah, you and I were both there, remember, we were at the house. Okay, so, any other corrections on that? So basically, the only thing was Blythe and Bixler weren't excused, they were there, so. We have motion to approve with those changes.
So moved.
David Bixler moved, second.
I'll second it.
Jack seconded. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstentions, okay, that's done. Next one. Yeah, that's right, David couldn't vote on that, and Gene couldn't vote on that anyway, so. Site inspection of July 22nd, 2015.
I move to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions, okay, that's approved, as is. Moving on. Correction, let me just make a note here. Moving on to regular meeting of September 16th. That was in our packet.
Page.
We have Gene's name again.
Yeah.
Page 2, the second bullet.
The lots.
They dug out, it should be sold the lots,
Yeah, lots, plural, yeah, I had that
plural.
too.
And then,
He said it, so.
yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we have to leave it because that's what he said. You're
Oh.
talking about the things that we corrected him about later, or what?
Well, and then he, the chairman of the agent, went the first, like, he understands,
Oh, okay. So understands, yeah, I got it. Which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth bullet down on page 2.
and on page 3, second long paragraph, sentence starts, what is currently happening in the Elderslie detention pond? One of those happenings needs to be redacted.
Okay, yeah. What is currently happening? Okay, we'll take out the first one.
And page 4,
Okay,
we have two Romans once again in the same sentence on the, I guess, second paragraph, last sentence. Mr. Gehring stated that Roman from Southwest Conservation
had looked.
had
Okay.
looked.
Take out the second one then, okay?
That's all I have.
And I have nothing else. Anybody have anything else?
I do.
Okay. All right, motion approved with those changes. David moves, second. Barry second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, okay, 5-0, okay. Next, October 3rd. Yeah, there's no problem. David moved to approve, second. Jack second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, okay. That's fine. Let's see what else we have. We have nothing else. Terry, do we have anything else that we need to talk about?
I have nothing.
We have nothing. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Okay, took Sharon's job. Yep. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Barry second, all in favor? Aye. We're done.